Hey, YouTube. Well, the people are talking about the situation with VS, Susie Cardone. So, Susie Cardone has been sentenced today. People have been waiting for this. No, I don't think it's wrong to report on this case since Susie Cardone is in this business. Certainly, if one of us was getting sentenced today, she would certainly report on it as well. I'm not going to go hard on nobody else's misfortune. I'm just going to kind of talk about what was happening with her. Okay, so apparently, when I gather, she's been sentenced to 5 or 10 days, something like, I don't know how it makes a difference. If you're in jail 5 or 10 days, it ain't all that, right? Probably if you're doing that, then they'll give you a couple of days for time served, whatever. But the key thing for me is probation. Susie Cardone is going to be on probation for 3 years. And one of her stipulations is that she can't be on social media. Now, that is a hard sentence. Maybe to most people, it wouldn't be a hard sentence because they don't make their living on YouTube, right? Okay, let me tell you what happened to me. When I was a dope fiend, I'm sorry, people, I'm always talking about being dope fiends and stuff, but that's all I know. I mean, that's my past. So I believe there is some power in telling the truth. So when I was a drug addict, I had supported myself by being a shoplifter, right? A booster shoplifter, picking up stuff in stores. My thing was picking up stuff in stores and returning it and getting the cash for it, right? And that's how I supported my my drug habit. I had done boosting throughout my life, though. I had always done it, right? It's always petty crimes. You know, I must have been arrested over 20, 25, 30, maybe even as much as 30 times. But with boosting, I mean, it's like the lowest kind of crime you get in jail. It's one of the lower anyway. I guess you could jaywalk or something and not pay your, you could jaywalk or something and end up with a warrant. But anyway, what I was saying was, that's how I made my living for that first couple of years. Actually, the first 5 years. Still in returning, right? Every time I went to jail, 5 days, on the first times I get busted, then it got to like 30 days, and they always progressed in days, right? So eventually I'll end up getting a year in jail with halftime, right? So a year jail with halftime turned out to about, you get a little bit more than that, maybe 7, 8 months you're in jail, right? I did this, like I said, for 5 years straight. They always say, you come back, you're going to prison. You coming back, you're going to prison, right? So the thing is, the point I'm trying to make is, I never went to prison for a violent crime or really a serious crime more than picking up stuff in Macy's, right? And sometimes the stuff wasn't worth $50, and I would use the year of my life. But eventually, there's one case that made a difference. I don't remember what the crime was, but one case made a difference. When they finally got enough and they said, okay, you can do 8 months or a year in jail, and you're at 3 years probation. Don't take that lightly, people. This is the reason I went to prison. I was in prison with murderers, batterers, big-time drug dealers, all the people, all the different various crimes. I was in there for shoplifting. And the trap was when they got me on probation. That is one case I should have fought. Because I always took I was always guilty, so I always took the charges, always public defender or whatever. If I had any money, I probably got off of half of them. Anyway, let me take a minute here and say hello to people. Hey, people, how you doing? Oh, a lot of you in here. Oh, I'm really liking this damn super chat thing. Okay. I mean, live thing. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hi, allegedly. You're the first one. First one in here. Okay, you guys, I'm not going to greet everybody, but hi, Terralon. I'll do a couple of these. I see everybody's in here. Okay, so we're not trying to sensationalize this case, right? But we're in the business of reporting on each other. Everybody knows about Susie. Everybody knows about VS. My personal experience, She came after me one time that I thought was very unfair. You know, I could have hated her forever. But in the last few months that she was out, we didn't have any problem. I guess we had come to a truce, right? So I'm not here to hate on that girl. But what I am saying is this: as far as probation goes, at one point they said, "Okay, enough is enough." The judge says, "If you come back in this jail, no, they offered me you can get out in 5 days if you take the probation. If you don't take the probation, we're gonna get you a year in jail, right? Give me an option." So for me, okay, guilty. Give me my 5 days and I'm going about my business, right? Bad mistake. Because then when I violated the probation, but not showing up because I was a drug addict, I was getting high. Last thing you want to do is go and report somewhere because they drug test you, you know. Anyway, this time when I went before the judge, you violated the probation. We're giving you the maximum sentence, and you're going to prison for 3 years. Hadn't hurt nobody, hadn't hit nobody, hadn't sold any major drugs, just for shoplifting, led to probation, and that led to my first prison sentence. Here's the thing. After you go to prison, and she would get like, I think her sentence was, what was it, a couple of years or something like that? And they'll give her that time minus time served, whatever. So you go to jail. Some people just get in there and they do a turnaround the first time. They get there, they do all the paperwork, they do all the processing, and they're out in a few days, right? And some people go there, the sentence is 3 years, they'll get the whole 3 and end up doing a year and a half in prison. The thing is, after, I'll speak in I terms, after I got on parole, not probation, parole from prison, essentially you are still the property of the state. If you jaywalk, you can go back to prison, right? So after I got I did my time and got out of prison, and then now I was on parole. Every time the cops see me, I always went to jail, but I always went back to prison. Now for me, since I was so guilty and I was so, you know, I just wanted to make a fast buck, so I had dope all in my pockets and all that kind of stuff. When they stopped me, I was always dirty, right? So I always went right back to prison. Point I'm trying to make is that probation for the shoplifting led to 10 years of prison time. 10 years I was going in and out of prison. They can violate you so easily. So the hell with if she got 5 days, 10 days now, who cares? Maybe she got time, so maybe she's sitting at home watching this shit right now. But the other thing that they did to her, this is a pretty bad sentence, considering, I mean, she probably thought it was just going to go away. The probation is bad, right? But the other stipulation is, I heard she has a second stipulation. She has to go and get mental health evaluation. That's just something, when you're on probation, they can make you do anything, jump through hoops or whatever. Some people get anger management. Some people you got to get an evaluation, whatever. Whatever they tell you to do, you got to do it or you can be violated and sent to prison, right? You go to prison, you're on real paper now. That's it, honey. You can go in and out. Anybody who decides they want to see you in jail can find a way to send your ass to jail. Now, it's going to be particularly hard for Susie Cardone because she made her living on the internet. And that's probably what she considers her social life. She was very involved in this thing, right? So it's going to be very hard for her now to go from, I don't know, $1,000 a month, let's say. That income is gone, right? And all she had to do is come on and talk on the internet. Now, she probably tried some ways to tell other people what to say and all that kind of stuff. But as far as money coming to her, she's messed herself up pretty bad. This is even worse than the probation. Because now she has to hide and try to be online, try to make a living online. Because this whole thing has to go away, right? She'll come on different names, whatever. She'll try different stuff, trying to go maybe to Facebook, some other site, whatever, and they have someone else use YouTube, post on their different face, whatever. If anybody can prove this girl is on any line, on social media, anywhere, she'll go to prison. That's what probation for. You can only do 1 year. Well, I don't know about everywhere else. And this is, I got to go back 20 years because some things have changed. When I was going to jail, there was no internet, so we didn't have to worry about it. Or there was no, like this. Anyway, there certainly was no YouTube. What was I saying? Okay. So she's going to try to find a way to be active in social media, right? It's going to fail because people are going to be doxing you and whatever characters you use. There's certain things she's going to say, certain ways that she operates, whatever. If people investigate you, they can prove that you are trying to trick the courts now and be online. You can go to prison. So the sentence is not all that light, really. The probation. What is that noise? Oh, they're sawing somewhere in the building. I was losing my mind. Y'all remember last time I was on here? I casually mentioned that this microphone was not as good as my other microphone in the living room, right? So I have an angel or somebody who looks out for me. Because today I walked past my old junk shop, which I rarely go in anymore because I just don't need anything else. But I went in there, and guess what I saw? The Blue Yeti. It's brand new. It doesn't even have a scratch on it. The Blue Yeti, $20. The other one was $150. So somehow or other, whatever I need seems to come to me. So I'm being led around, I feel like. Maybe God has angels. My books, Epiphany, the people are like angels assigned to you. Anyway, where was I at? Susie Cardone. Okay, so I don't take no pleasure in nobody going to jail. When they get probation, I know how it could end up. You can go to prison and then get in trouble in prison. What if somebody come and slap the shit out of you in prison? What you going to do? First, you're going to go to the hole, and then you're going to get more time. It's not all that light of cases she got. I feel for her. She got to find another way to make a living. And getting this kind of easy money, she got to go back to working security guard. And they say that she can't even have a weapon anymore. So she would have to be on a lower grade security guard even. So, and this, I think she actually loves this thing. So it's pretty serious. What are you guys saying? Okay. You guys think Susie will still be looking in? She's got to be looking in. I mean, how can you resist it? Seeing who's talking shit about her, whatever. I don't know how they can monitor that. They're not going to monitor her computer. She's not a serial killer or anything like that. She can't participate. So my guess would be that she's gonna watch social media, and she probably has friends that she's offline, kind of saying. And hopefully they won't turn on her, telling them what to say, what to do, who to dox, and whatever. Try to control it from there. I don't see that having many legs though. Because then one of these people that turn on you, honey. Every time I went to prison, it was because somebody told on me. Anyway, she sure would and wouldn't hesitate with her dripping butt. Okay, Tara, I don't know what you're talking about. You guys are in the chat. She sure would and wouldn't hesitate with her dripping butt. I don't know what you mean, baby. Okay. I wish her the best. Ain't going to miss her. Okay, Miss DS and Miss her. I found at the end she wasn't as bad as I originally thought. When she came after me, I thought she was the devil. I really thought I was looking for horns on her head because I just didn't feel like I deserved that. And but then later on, as I started watching a little bit, I felt okay. She's not all bad. This person, and when she was doing her panels and so forth, sometimes she was actually fair. So yes, I'm sure she has a big following. Let me see. She's kind of tried to attempt to create a different persona, probably a different face, somebody else's picture, and all that kind of stuff. Is not worth playing with this thing, Miss Susie Cardone. Don't play with it because you got too many enemies. Too many enemies that are going to be looking for you. Right? These people have the power to send you to prison. No doubt they'll be posting your PO name and everything else. So at least for the moment, you have to lay down. You're able to do it because you laid down for the last couple of months, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got my hair cut. Carnia Key. Okay. So what else is going on? I see Miss Monique is done wrote a letter to Oprah, still bitching about how she treated her. Now she's bitching about how she's treating Harvey Weinstein. Why is she covering the black people, but she ain't covering the white guy and all that kind of stuff? Oprah, when she started her own network, I know this is controversial, what I'm going to say. When she started her own network, it is really a black station, right? Like when she was on primetime, it was her majority of her audience were white people. My guess is if she were still on primetime, she still has an Oprah show, then she would have covered the Weinstein story because that's where her audience was. Now, all of her shows are geared towards black people, right? Greenleaf, Queen Sugar, great shows, but they're geared towards black people. Even the Tyler Perry stuff, still a black audience. So people, black community, are interested in what goes on with black people. I think they're probably less interested in what goes on with white people. Maybe that's not fair. Maybe it makes no sense. But my guess is if she still was on her regular, what do you call that? The regular, whatever. She had a regular show before on primetime, she would have got more involved in that case. But Oprah, Miss Monique is spreading herself. You know, we're not the only ones who clout chase. Monique has been attempting to connect herself with Oprah for years, for all the things about her family coming on the show and all the things, all these reasons that she is now with one of the richest women in the United States. She attaches herself there by always beefing with her. Right? Now, Monique, I believe her show is going to show on Friday. I was kind of rooting for the girl. I said, well, maybe you can, prove was all wrong, come back and make a career. But now she's premiering on Friday, and she is now still in here picking fights with these black people. She always picks fights with all the black people, right? Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, what we got to go through all that, even though she's been given a chance to have her own show to start over. So my advice to her would be, just let it go. Just let it go. These people have given you a chance to kickstart your career again. It's amazing they gave you a chance. Don't blow it with all this bullshit, Ms. Monique. Just let it go. Let it go, honey. Anyway, I know people have different opinions about all that kind of stuff, but I just don't see why she is reinserting herself. And but she's concerned about Harvey Weinstein now. Come on, you were trying to get at Oprah. Okay. Let's see. What else is going on, people? I'm about out walking. I have this, I facilitate this group, HIV people, once a week, a couple of hours. But when I'm out there, then I tend to try to do all my errands and stuff at the same time. So Tuesday's kind of my down day. But hey, I see everybody's talking about the VS situation. As long as they, you can report, you got to report on it. I mean, it is the news, and it's what she did. I mean, she reported on all of us, right? But as long as you don't become obsessive about it, you don't need to make 20 videos about VS. She's gone. You all wanted her gone. She's a case of what could happen. So people who are arguing, beefing with these people who live in your area, stay away. No contact, honey. You don't know what could happen. Oh, I would never hit anybody. I would never do nothing like that. Oh, let somebody come up and spit in your face. What are you going to do? Stay away from people who live in your same town, honey, or your same area. Do yourself a favor. 3 years of getting that cash from the poor. Okay, 3 years of getting that cash from the poor. Now, what is that? Getting the cash. I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean, Ronnie Q? 3 years of getting that cash from the poor? You mean she was on here 3 years? Is that it? I don't know. I just became aware of her. I stayed away for a long time. I just don't feel that doxing stuff, people. I don't. I think it's just wrong, wrong, wrong. So I avoided that whole crowd for a while, but I don't think they're all bad people, you know. And now without BS there to lead them, they have to find their own way. Yeah, I always tell the truth about my past. I don't care about all that stuff. They're petty people. Wilson and the people like that, they'll try to find something they can talk about you, about your past, whatever. It is what it is, honey. I don't care anything about that. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold on. Super chat. Thank you, Samuel Liggins. Thank you. I appreciate that. And also, Jay Bostick. Jay Bostick, thank you for the super chat, brother. I can't see your picture. I can't tell if you're a guy or girl. So many names are unisex, you know. They can be a guy or a girl being Jay. He looks like a guy. Thank you, brother. Okay, so what else is going on? Okay, wear your truth. Yeah, so I don't go to 12-step AA or anything like that. But I respect the program, right? Because it helps a lot of people. And part of that program is I believe it's the 4th step, where you write an inventory. They call it a moral inventory, right? Write all the things you've done wrong and so forth. Well, I wrote a memoir, and for me, that was freeing. That was telling my whole truth, right? And I haven't needed meetings, things like that. The thing about 12 step that it frustrated me was I could go a whole week, never even thought of drugs. I don't even think about it, right? As soon as I go to a meeting, people talk about drugs that they would be stuck in my head. Plus, I have this ongoing resentment that's where I learned about meth at, was in 12-step meetings. So it doesn't benefit me to be constantly discussing drugs. Just my opinion. So for me, telling my whole truth is writing a memoir. I got free from that. When I left Indianapolis, I was 19 years old, right? I had never even discussed the fact that I was homosexual with any of my family members. We had a pretty big family, probably 100 people. I just left, right? So they don't know about my life. They know nothing might happen to me. We just know he left. After I wrote that book, they all read my book. They all know my story, right? And strangely enough, my grandmother actually became the biggest fan of that book. Just about writing your story. People that I know, people I went to program with, people in the streets heard that I wrote a book. They wanted it. They have that book in the drug programs I went through, right? So it's very freeing to just tell you the truth. Yes, you will encounter, I didn't think you would encounter people like that, but I guess they are out there who try to use your past against you. It doesn't make any sense to me. We are grown people here. And we want to try to help people. I mean, I think that's what it's kind of all about. Anyway. Yeah, so telling your truth is a good thing. Some people write in their journals. You don't have to publish it necessarily. But 12-step definitely recommends that you write down your past. Even in that situation, they share it with one person. That's it. She told them it's her job. But it is. I mean, that's her job. She had worked for security, right? And got fired or something. But this is how she made a living. I don't know how good a living she made. I know she had a power to raise money for other people. I know she helped Wally a lot when they were still getting along. So she has that. I don't necessarily think that it was VS's motivation was purely money, though. I think it was something different than that. Right? A lot of the money she raised, it was for somebody else, or suggested that her people support someone else. So I don't know I wouldn't consider her a money hungry person, but that's gotta hurt. That was her income. Right? She's still raising a family too. So she's gonna have to figure it out. Okay. Hey, chat. I did 10 years probation. Okay. Tina, can I repeat that? Well, you're in the chat, right? So Tina says, I did 10 years probation. People love to test your gangster when you can't do nothing about. Oh, that's so true. Yes, God, that is so true, honey. There were so many people I dealt with on the street that I had to watch what I. When they knew I was on parole, all it takes is a phone call, right? Fuck your whole life up. And you're on internet, people who could be internet gangsters and so forth. Of course, they're going to investigate. They think somebody is actually VS on here. If there's anything that's been hinted at or aspects of her personality show through, they're going to try to find out if that's her. And yes, they will use that against you. So you're right, Tina. Nothing like that good old street knowledge, honey. Hi, Queen of the Nile. You see my Nefertiti over there? Another Queen of the Nile. Let's see. Hey, Miss Tony. Right. Maya, I hate probation. I'd rather do the time. Right. So I thought I was getting away with something when I took that probation. This is what my public defender told me, that I had options. I could plead guilty and leave, be on probation. Leave in, I guess, probably 5 or 6 days, whatever. I thought I'd gotten over, right? That turned out to be the worst decision. When they had my ass for 3 years, I wasn't reporting. I was a dope fiend. So when they came and got me, I hadn't even committed the crime. After you get on paper, honey, that's it. And especially when everybody in the whole damn world knows you're on paper. Right? Imagine when she was having all these problems with Sean, and who else was she with? Phi Babe and all the people who were after her, kind of thing. If he was on probation during that time, it's just a phone call. She threatened me. You know. Shaquila Dixon. Hi, Shaquila. Welcome to the chat, honey. Okay. What was I stealing? Okay. When you go to the department store, I always stop at good department stores. When I had it together, I was still looking good like a customer, right? What I discovered was all of the security in the department stores was down on the main level, right? This is where the all the women's expensive stuff is. You know, women mostly do all the shopping, right? But so all of the expensive stuff was on the clothing. And men's suits they can go up to $1,200, $1,300, right? So they had security down there where the men's were, right? So what I would do is I would go in the mall, I would go up to the 3rd floor, usually it was 3 or 4 stories, up to the highest floor, and that's where they kept the housewares, kitchenwares, stuff like that, home stuff. No security up there. Nobody wants to steal pots and pans, right? So I would steal things like knife sets, you know, that's $100, $200. Things from there, it didn't matter what I stole, because when I returned it, I'm only interested in the money. I wasn't interested in, you know, the merchandise. So I would always go to the higher floors and I would return it, get the cash. Of course, you can only do this a couple of times in each store. So I spend a whole lot of time traveling, all to get high at the end of the night. And many times, after all that work, and I had no car, riding a bus in a city like Los Angeles, because I had to go further and further out to the malls, right? All that work, many times you come back and you get ripped off. You buy bogus dope. You just spend all that goddamn time. Now it's night. Those were some rough years, honey. Don't steal. Find another way to get your money. Okay, what's going on? Thumbs up. Okay, anything else happened today? Let me see. 10 days in jail. So she got 10 days in jail? I mean, those kind of sentences, nobody cares about them. 10 days, 5 days, no days. What difference does that make? I mean, it's over in a week. You can do that. When they start talking years, honey, that's when you got to clutch your pearls. Stealing is serious, sir. Yes, it is. Put your ass in jail. Yeah. I was not the kind of thief that stole from people, though. First of all, I was not in people's houses. One good thing about leaving home so early, when I was away, when I was in LA, all those years, my family, they knew nothing about my drug addiction. They didn't know anything about it. So I never worked my parents for money. I never worked relatives for money. I was never pitiful in front of people that I cared about, right? So that was a good thing. When I finally told them my situation is I got HIV positive, I thought I was going to be dead at any moment. I thought I should tell them that I'm actually in prison. They came through for me. They tried to help me. At that time, you couldn't help me because I was a dope fiend. When I knew that it was over, when I knew I was delivered, I got out of prison. First thing I did was call my grandmother. I hadn't called my grandmother in 16 years. Immediately, I called her, and we got right back into relationship. But see, I would never have called her if I thought I was going to be going in and out of prison. I was too embarrassed. I knew it was over. Yep. If your wife knows you're on probation, I assume she would know that. Go ahead, hit me, knowing your ass is going right to prison directly from this door. So some people will take advantage, honey. Yeah, if she can find another way to entertain herself other than social media, you know, she can do it. I don't think she's out there stealing anything or doing anything reckless. She seems like she's mostly at home with her dogs and her kids. So, but this thing here is addictive, not only just for the financial aspect of it, but it's just addictive to be social media. You know, she got to give that up. She got to go cold turkey, but she can still watch. At some point, she's going to get angry because somebody's going to be talking shit about her. I'm not talking shit about her. You know, in a way, it does seem like justice was served. Susie was doing a lot of bad things to a lot of people. You know, so, but I'm not going to make any strong opinion about that. I don't want to see anybody go to jail. And especially, I don't want to see anybody on probation because I know what it leads to. When you come out of prison, you are a better criminal. You can't help it. Criminals talking about how different schemes to do. I mean, when I went into prison, I was no drug dealer. I came out, first thing I did was start selling drugs. So getting in that system can mess you up. And she used to always brag about she had no record. All this changed in a moment. Just by meeting up with that girl. People, if somebody lives near you, do not get into it with them on social media. Right. Don't meet nobody. Okay, so what time did she get it? What time did she get it? I don't know about that. Let's see. Let me go back a little bit. I can see all this stuff. Okay. Yes, stealing is serious. Okay. Nope, wrong. Jigga piece. A thief will always be a thief. That's a damn lie, baby. I'm sorry. I can't agree with you there. I haven't stolen anything in years. And I mean nothing. Nothing. Wait a minute. There was one exception. One time I was my mother had sent me some money, right? To go and buy me some pots and pans. So I went to Bed Bath and Beyond and I got some stuff. She sent me quite a bit of money, $500, something like that. When I got to the register, I had this pot set, right? When I got to the register, there's a young black guy there working in the register. And he rang up everything except for the pot set. The pot set was damn near $200. So I said, I don't think that's right. I said, I think because the shit was worth, $400 or $500. But he said, no, it's right. So I took it. It was an instant. That's the one time that and I didn't steal it. I didn't go there to steal anything. But this kid was obviously, I don't know if he was mad at the store or he just helping the brother out kind of thing or whatever. Because I even told him that I don't think you're right. And he still put it in the bag. This was a teenager, But that's the only one time I slipped. So I know I'm not holy. I don't claim no holiness, honey. Don't be dropping your wallet in front of me with no $3,000 and $4,000 in it. Expect me to, hey, mister, you drop your, although I've done stuff like that. Anyway, I'm fortunate that I don't steal. I started stealing in my mother's pocketbook. I was 8 years old. I would go in there, I would get $20 out of her pocketbook, right? I'll buy candy and shit with it, right? Now, my mother, she was not a rich woman. She is definitely going to know that $20 is missing out of her purse, right? And my mother, at that time in her life, was a very physical woman. So she could knock your head. She always said she'd knock your head off. Taking your life into your own hands with my mother, it was not a good thing to steal from her. But I did it. What's the psychology around it? I don't know. And then I ended up with a bully. I think I was about 12, a bully who was demanding that I give him money. What was his name? He was either, I had two bullies in my whole life, right? Both around that time, 10, 19 years old. I was a timid kid at that age. His name was either Piece of Bread. One of them was called Piece of Bread. That was his name. Huge. I mean, this dude was a huge. I don't know what he was doing in middle school. He looked like he was a grown man, right? Anyway, so I would go in there and steal money from my mother's purse and then give half of it to him or some of it to him. So it stuck with me. Then let me see. Then where was I working? I was working at Sears Roebuck around 19. I started stealing from there. So all the department stores that I worked for, I always stole from them. It was just something I just did from being raised a poor kid, But so even working, I was always a thief. One thing I didn't do though, I wouldn't steal from people that I knew. That was not my thing. Right? I would sell to them. Anyway, when I got delivered from dope, the stealing was over. Dope creates desperation in you because no matter how poor you are, you need to come up with $100, $200 a day. You lose a lot of your inhibitions, kind of thing. So I was amazed. I started doing things right after I got delivered from dope. That was it. I said, see, for me, if I wouldn't stole anything, that would be like slapping God in the face. That's the way I see it. If I wouldn't stole anything, I would be on my way back to using drugs because that would be like slapping God in the face. I've done everything for you. You are set up, not being dishonest at all. And for a long time, I lived just on what they got from Social Security. Now, I've been HIV positive for 30 years, right? So if you want to dox all that and stuff, I certainly qualify for what I'm getting, right? But it was not enough. And somehow still, we made it. I'm not doing anything that I consider wrong. I don't do it. I go in the store. It is such a pleasure to walk out of a store and you ain't got to worry about if somebody behind me, right? You ain't got to worry about how security look at you. I don't got to worry about shit. I don't steal. So I don't agree with you. Who was that person? Person who said once a thief, always a thief. Nope, that's wrong. It's not once a drug addict, always a drug addict. There are certain things people say, well, this will always be your character. I don't know. I don't know about all that. That is not true in my experience. Yes, if they wanted to do, they can get you for anything when you're on probation. Many times you get like one chance. The one chance the probation officers say, oh, okay, one strike. It ain't 3 strikes, there's 2. But you do it again, right back in prison. Every time I got stopped, I went back to prison. Thank you, Jimmy, I love. Okay. Heat wave, okay. Kiki, the unbreakable spade. The unbreakable spade. Okay. While you were a sophisticated one, Uncle Tim, at least you had good taste. Thank you. I think. Don't let people shame you for your past, honey. Your testimony is you made it through. You made it out. It's a good testimony for people. What is this? Yes, your mom beat the hell out of you for over a dime. Yep. That's how she was at that time. I must have really felt emboldened to be stealing from my mama, honey. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They scared you straight. Yeah. Okay. Can you talk? Okay, this is from Pamela Bruce. Can you talk about the Larry Reid situation and the other bloggers beefing? Well, I have talked a little bit about that. I love Larry Reid. I mean, I really enjoy him. Honestly, I do. So, yeah, I'm not going to sit. I would try to dissect what the situation is with him. I know they have become just like us, but they just beef. Because I mean, what was it? So King Jives and that dude, Conscious TV, they were all over the William McRae story, right? I got a resentment because they wanted you to go to Patreon to keep up with the story, right? Which, I mean, you don't have to pay for your news anyway. So then it looks like those two who were going against William McRae, now they were beefing. So now instead of talking about William McRae, they were talking about each other. And then Larry Reid was already thrown, and I think that's just clout chasing. He was thrown into the mix. There you got this new dude, the cigar guy, and he's going after Larry Reid like Larry Reid did something to him. So I guess that's just a part of the price of fame, popularity, whatever you want to call it. Larry Reid has become very popular in that sector, and he's been having legal problem after legal problem after legal problem, right? People are coming after him because he's on top of that game. So let's hope he holds on. I mean, he's had to hire attorneys and all that. I mean, why go through all this work and so forth to build a platform if you got to spend the profit now on attorneys? But I'm hoping the best for him. I don't think Jives is a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he does like the beef because a year ago they weren't doing beef. He was talking about Juanita Bynum, and all of a sudden they just start feeding off each other, you know. So it looks like none of them are getting along. Nobody in that sector seems to be getting along with each other. So that's kind of sad. But I think Larry Reid's a good guy. At one point, we started around the same time, right? When he was with Buddha. And he passed me up so fast. I mean, I saw they had better equipment. They had a better setup and so forth. He is a professional. He spoke for his whole life. Anytime you're a pastor, you're used to making a living by speaking, public speaking, right? So I didn't get jealous because he passed me up. I mean, at some point we were neck and neck, though. I think around 4,000 or 5,000, or something like that. I think he's now, with all of his platforms together, is somewhere around 100,000 people. So good for him. But when you're on top, just like Monique going after Oprah, you can't get no higher than Oprah, right? It's a shame people have to pull other people down just to attach themselves to a bigger person. That's what they call clout chasing. Even if you have to destroy that person and the person's reputation. So I haven't followed it real close, but I know that they seem to be tearing each other apart. Okay. And yes, there is jealousy there. When somebody passes you up by 100,000 people, of course, there's going to be some jealousy there if you're in that sector. I don't really care about other people's numbers. To have 18,000 people, I find amazing. Amazing. Anyway. Yes, people can change. People can change, honey. And that particularly they can change by faith. You go to these churches, half the people there are because they have a past. That's why they came there. That's what they were searching for. Yes, they can change. People can change. That is absolutely true. Some of these people, because San Francisco is just got homeless people. Soon you walk out the door, people crazy, people hooked on drugs and all that. And what I know from my own experience is some of the worst ones. So you have to hit a bottom. It's got to become too much, right? The people you see in the worst condition, the worst drug addicts, they have a better chance of sobriety than people who just have a problem. It's the truth. I'm sorry. So you don't ever judge anybody and think anybody's life cannot be changed. It can all be changed. 12 Step, they do fantastic work. They got meetings all over the place. So what if they have a relapse 3 times in the last 20 years? They're still sober almost all the time. Yes. And it's easier for older people. Like I don't have the draw for sex and meeting people and all that kind of stuff and clubbing and all that. I don't have any of that. So I already know that, one more relapse for me is it. Otherwise, just put me in the coffin, honey. Don't ever believe you can't change. Let's see. They can't change though until they're ready. Though that's the thing. So even when I was in the pen, guys with 4 and 5 kids, whatever, people who have lost their marriages, people who have lost their homes, none of it makes any difference. They can't stop until they're ready to stop. So they can't stop for you, no matter how much they love you. People cry. People all live in their visitor rooms crying and all this kind of stuff. And they love their family and they want to be right. But he said, no, I can't say I'll never do it again. That's where this word deliverance comes from. For me, meth is Israel. I mean, yeah, out of Egypt. Yeah, like the Israelites were delivered from Egypt. That's why we get the word delivered. The oldest record of that word. But you can come out of something. If God takes you out, you can come out of anything. It's my belief. The only reason, listen, I was reluctant to go to church at first. People go to church in prison, whatever. Whatever them preachers said, all the preaching they did, I went every day, I think. Pretty much every day, whatever day they were open. All the talk. None of that. One man came into Vacaville State Prison and he had murdered somebody. And he told about the miracle of him getting out and how long he's been clean. He was coming in and telling us how he got out and how his life has been changed through spirituality. That had more effect to me than all the yakety, repeating the same old stuff over and over again. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love church. I love the information, but the testimony helped me a lot more. It gave me hope. And I haven't been back. God is the way. I mean, even 12 steps. There are 12 steps to what? To a better understanding of God, better relationship with God. I said one thing that will defeat you in that program, let's say, is a refusal to accept any spiritual principles. When I was in one of them damn pens, I don't know, I wasn't there all the time, right? I went through and all the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I found every one of them in the Bible. The spiritual principles. When the guy who started 12-step AA, Bill, what's his name? Bill Wilson. He got his deliverance. First, it was the Catholics that talked to him. The Catholics that visited him in the hospital. I believe. I have to remember. I haven't been to an AA meeting in 20 years. 18 years. Oh, yeah. So I'll be sober 19 years on the 4th Oh my God. Oh my God. Happy birthday to me. Today is the 4th of February, right? So now I'm clean for 19 years. It's my birthday. See what I mean about that angel swirling around? It sure is today, though. The way I know my day, because in 12 step, they always talk about your sobriety day. And they always remember the day that last time they had a drink, right? Or alcohol, last time they had a drug or whatever. I always know because I have the paperwork the day the cops came and got me, right? So we know the date I had my last hit, right? And the way they got me was I had two places, right? I had a hotel where I dealt drugs at. But I couldn't go to sleep there because the cops can come in and you can get robbed in them places. So you have to have another place. So I had just gotten this apartment on Polk Street. I had moved in with these guys. I given them a slew of money because they were about to be evicted. And so I saved them from that, right? And I just moved into this apartment. Maybe I was there a couple of weeks, whatever. Somebody got busted in the place where I do drugs at. I know it came from there because I had just moved in there. And nobody knew that I had moved. The second place is always a secret, right? But the person who helped me move in there, he was at that hotel. He got busted at that hotel, and he had to be the person that told on me, right? Because they came to the door, they rang the bell, and they said, "My name is Jabber." They used to call me Jabber. I know Wilson Hill. That'll end up in this chat. Anyway, they said, "It's Crystal." So I had to go down, open the door, different gate. Now I was going there. I was very angry. I think I might even had a weapon in my hand because why would somebody come into a place that I hadn't told anybody to live? I certainly wouldn't do no business and identify themselves as Crystal. The pun being it's crystal meth, right? So I was going down there to let whoever the fuck it was, I was going off on them, right? I get down there. They say, "Hey, Jabber." It was the cops. They cuffed me right there. That was the last time I got high. So we are very clear on the date. I used to celebrate both dates, and October is when I got out and I stayed clean. But the last time I got high was that day, February 4th, 19 years ago. Okay, where's the person disagrees? Happy birthday. That's amazing that I would see this and be on that very date. No, he didn't snitch on me. He told. Yes, he did. That's the same thing. It was every time I got busted, it was because somebody told on me though. Cops, they stop somebody and they got maybe $20 worth of drugs on them or whatever. They'll say, "Okay, we'll let you go. You tell us where you got the drugs," and they would just come and pick me up. I was already on parole, right? So, yeah, a lot of fucked up memories there. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Well, that's something, Sherry. That's something I haven't done yet. Can't say that something I'll never do because I didn't think I would be on live a week ago or 8 days ago. But it's time, But I have never interviewed with anybody online. I've never been on a split screen or any of that kind of stuff. So who knows? I just say it's something I haven't done yet. I have spoken at a couple of colleges, not about drugs, about what was it about dope or HIV? I forget. About HIV. San Francisco State asked me to talk there. I don't know. I'm weird about public speaking though. This is public speaking in a way, but I know since I was a child, I always had this stuttering problem, right? So I know my struggle is stilted kind of way out that I talk. It makes me insecure sometimes, right? Particularly if I'm in a crowd of people. That's why I didn't do book readings or signings, anything like that. But like you say, you never know what you're gonna do. I haven't done it so far. Let's see here. It's a horrible disease. Which one is a horrible disease? Well, HIV is certainly a horrible disease, but not near as horrible as you might think. HIV, not now. It was. They're all bad until they find some way to treat it. When in the 80s, there was no treatment. It didn't make a difference how rich you were or anything else. I mean, Rock Hudson, they couldn't do a damn thing for him. He was flying all over the world, flying to Paris for treatments and all that. Didn't make any difference. So it's just not what it was. I facilitate groups weekly on HIV with, like a ongoing support group. We don't know how to talk about HIV because ain't nobody sick. We're all getting old. That's the primary thing. Okay. Let's see what else people are talking about. Yeah, I just came in here and got right on the computer, so I don't know what else is going on today. I see that this thing in this election, was it Iowa? They still have no results or whatever. I don't trust Trump no farther than I can throw his ass. So I'm very suspicious. He has created an atmosphere where you can't trust the government. You can't trust them. What was that show on Netflix about the government with Kevin Spacey in it? What was that called? Whatever. Kevin Spacey, they were playing. It was fiction, right? But fiction is based on realities. Where they had fixed the election in some small place, and that won the election for the guy who was president, the one who initially was the president. It's become reality. It is the reality. We don't know what the hell Trump is up to at any point, but all of a sudden now, Iowa, you can't say who won there. Now, maybe Trump would have a dog in that thing, but we can't trust anything that comes out of him, right? So if he cheated the first time, he's accused of so many different ways of cheating this time. I mean, how can you trust your own government? It's ridiculous. There is some old white dude fulfilled his bucket list. I've done everything else. I want to be president. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the crazy part is people would put him back in office. I mean, it shouldn't even be an issue if somebody's been investigated from the time they started. One thing, everybody around him is going to prison. He knows how to read his audience, I guess. So whatever his supporters, I mean, he's taking over the Republican Party. He wasn't even a Republican. They don't mind he just come in and just announce he's a Republican all of a sudden. Kedra G, thank you. You guys forgive me if I don't pronounce names correctly. Kedra, thank you, honey, for super chat. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, honey. 19 years. So I passed up what I did. I did drugs for 17 years. Or at least I did meth. There was a couple of years when I was, lightweight, smoking weed and stuff. But yeah. Okay, there's a big Asian community there where they are affected with HIV. There's a big Asian community there where they affected in HIV epidemic here in San Francisco. I haven't noticed any particular amount of Asian people who have HIV more than anybody else. I just haven't seen a lot of that, so I don't know. Doesn't seem to care what race you are. We just have a big Asian community here. But stop trying to put HIV off on other people. When they first started, when HIV first came, they were calling that the white boy disease. Oh, that's the white people disease. Oh, we don't get that. We don't get that. Then you go forward 3 or 4 years, and now it's the black people disease. Oh, the black people were the ones that get it. Then they say, oh, the fastest growing community are black women. Oh, the black women are the ones with the disease. Stop trying to blame or put disease on other people, honey. It's the disease. They don't give a damn who it attaches to. Yep. Thank you, Kiki. The unbreakable shade. Spade. The unbreakable spade. Okay. That's happened to me before. Timed out on accident. Okay. Yeah, I Kiki and Redbone are in charge of all the that stuff, all the moderating, right? So they've been doing a great job. Gilmore Slim. Okay, you in San Francisco. Have you ever heard of Gilmore Slim? You sound like a pimp. Is he? Straight from the gate. Is that a pimp? Gilmore Slim? No, you're talking. Okay, I get it. You're talking about Fillmore. It's pronounced with an F. Fillmore Slim. That was a legendary pimp in the old Western edition. That neighborhood has changed so much. It's been gentrified. There are a few pockets of Black people that live over there still, mostly in housing developments or projects. But the Fillmore has changed a whole lot. But yes, I've heard of Fillmore Slim. Okay. Oh my God, Pete Buttigieg. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be wonderful if he won? Well, I'm glad he's doing so well. You know, this world is changing, people. Get on board. That's great. I would like to see him win. So far, from what I've heard, I mean, Buttigieg is, I mean, he speaks better than the rest of them. I mean, he seems to be a better candidate than the rest of them, right? He's going to have the burden of being the first gay person. I mean, a few years ago, just a little bit ago, I mean, it was unheard of to even have a gay senator. But now this man is running for president, and he is a serious candidate. I wish Black people would get over the idea that you only support other Black people, kind of thing, right? You have no support for people, LGBTQ people. Those are different kind of people, you say. Until everyone is treated equal, who do you think is going to come up short? As long as you hold on to the idea that some people can be treated differently than other people, we are always going to be on the bottom. That's what it means to be a minority, right? So we should be supporting all minorities, particularly if they're intelligent, if you think that they could do a good job as president. We got a damn reality star in the White House, a reality star who's a heterosexual. I don't know what happened to all them women, because I know good and damn well Donald Trump has not only fucked two prostitutes, excuse my French. Donald Trump has only had relationships with two prostitutes or two people who come forward. There are many. You don't just do that one time, honey. Particularly not when you got billions of dollars, or so he says, probably hundreds of millions of dollars. But when you're a very wealthy person and you have the character of Donald Trump, it didn't happen no one or two times, but people haven't come forward. I don't know if they paid off or signed DNAs or whatever the hell happened. This is a person of the very lowest character, right? But some people will still hold it against the other man. And I've heard the stories about what happened in Indiana and him trying to connect with the African-American people. I haven't researched it. I don't get really involved into politics until the general election. When Democrats pick a person, then I'll follow that person. Because otherwise, it consumes your whole life. They say the exact same thing over and over and over and over, waiting for a scandal. Over and over and over. I can't do that. So whatever the Democratic nomination is, and it could be a woman. I'm going to have a problem with that. I love minorities breaking the glass ceiling. It has to happen. Right? It has to happen. Hillary, I thought she was going to make it. And no one will say it. Well, I think there was a lot of trickery with Trump. It's just a lot of cheating that went on there because more people voted for her. The people cover for this fool. He ain't did nothing for them. All he's basically done is cut taxes for rich people and cut out regulations. So if people start driving their cars off in the goddamn ocean because they have no regulations, blame Trump. I don't see where no damn Mexican factories have closed and moved back to America. That's what he said was going to happen when he lowered the taxes, right? They're all going to come back to America. He's running on Obama's economy. He ain't this shit. Fillmore. I'm pretty sure the guy's name was Fillmore Slim. Wasn't he a legendary pimp? No, I don't know anything about that coronavirus. I don't know anything about it. The news is consumed with politics, so I haven't even been watching it. I know there have been cases here in San Francisco. I think there are 4. I think there are 2 that are actually here, and then they brought in 2 people for some kind of special treatment. He's quarantined, but yeah, I don't know anything about it. I'm not one of those like to talk about stuff I don't know anything about. I say names. Yeah, but there was a lot of trickery with Trump. I mean, that's why he was investigated from the very first day. He fired the FBI director. What was that? Was he a week in, 2 weeks in? Oh, you are? Who is this? Prima Wanda? Prima Wanda? Yeah, I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. I can't say no more because if you go in there fucking with my family, I'd be ready to get on a plane and kill somebody. So, but yes, I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. I never left Indiana until I drove to Los Angeles. First time I drove there, I didn't make it. Car broke down in Las Vegas. I ended up stuck there. Then I found out about gambling in Vegas. I had my family, my uncle sent me some money there. I think $300. I bought $300 worth of dimes and put them all back in the thing. I guess I won a little bit and kept trying to get the big money, whatever. Anyway, here I was sleeping in my car in Vegas, and the man sent me $300, and I put every dime of it into a dime slot machine. Something came of it. I ain't gambled since. I learned the hard way. What area were you from, Prima Wanda? Well, I think that's east. It's been 40 years. We were on east side. We were on 30 near 38th Street. I guess east side. I mean, we lived other places. My mother never left town, so I mean, she had there. Well, she lived in San Francisco. My mom married a guy when I was 1 year old, right? And they moved to San Francisco. So I lived here before, from about 1 to maybe 4, something like that. Yeah. Oh, all these Indianapolis people. All right, I can't say no more. I can't give no more information on this damn thing. Okay, 34th and Keystone. Yeah, I know just where that is. Isn't that by the big Keystone Square or something? 34th Street. Yeah, I was near 36. We were in the same neighborhood, Harvey. Okay. Yeah, Gary is more Chicago than it is Indiana. I always thought of it as, because right across it's like being in Oakland. Gary's right across the water from Chicago. But all right, Jackson 5 people, I see you. Oh, I didn't know Indy was so popular. I went years never even meeting anybody from Indianapolis in California until a couple of years ago. I ended up with this place where I facilitate, and I left me like 4 people from Indianapolis, just coincidentally. But I hadn't met any. I don't talk to a lot of people, so I don't know where the hell they're from. Few people are actually from San Francisco. They all came from somewhere. Most High. Hi. Miss Moms. Let me see where you at. Okay, guys, if nothing else happened today, I guess I'll call it a day. It's been over an hour. I don't want to become a live-aholic. No 4 and 5 hours. I can't do it, honey. All right, people. It's good to talk to you guys. You guys who like to pray for Miss VS. Even if you consider her your enemy, pray for your enemies. That this girl will be able to resist getting back online. It's going to be hard. This is where she made a living. She's going to at least try to have some influence, but it ain't worth it, baby. You violate that probation. You might get one chance. So we're hoping for the best for her. All right, people. Later.